Time is X minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's the Rocket Hour. Y'all are now tuned in. Time to hit the pick four that you'd love to win. If your money's coming slow, step on the faster track with your host, Ricky Pasternak. Let's go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rocket Hour. We're up to episode 34. They seem to be flying at us, 3 a week. We did give like 4 weeks, so I think that's how we got, we're not at 33, it'd be 33, 36, 39. We're at 34 because we did the one with Magic. And that brings me to my first segue. Magic's not here, as Aaron's name is. I texted Magic yesterday and said, come on and do some stakes action with us. Yep. He agreed to it. I sent the stake schedule. I tried to be diligent, right? And unfortunately, Magic won't be able to make it, which is unfortunate because we had a lot of fun when he was on last time. So maybe he'll make it up to us down the road. He's a busy guy. Kid on the way, a lot of the stakes action and stuff for the website. So let's not hold it against him. I'm going to keep – I've officially decided to keep my name, your host, forever. That is officially going to be my name. So I'm happy there's one of us who's willing to change it. We also have some interesting news. Aaron is not giving us his race by race wager. He's going to give us a pick 4 ticket. So this is special. I hope you guys are watching. If you haven't tuned in yet, or you miss a little bit, make sure you get that because you're going to have 2 pick 4 tickets. So Aaron's going to tell us a little bit why he decided to do that when we get a little bit later. But like we always do, we are going to start with our Close Shave Rocket launch brought to you by Manscaped. You guys can see the code. Use the code ROCKET20. Again, we said yesterday we partnered with Manscaped. Support for the Rocket Hour is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for all the listeners today, 20% off, plus free shipping with the code ROCKET20 at manscaped.com. Aaron, I actually got my products in yesterday. I'm not sure which one to use. It's a big weekend for the 24-year-old kid. So maybe after we do a live show, maybe Saturday, I guess the word hasn't broken if we're going to do a live stream yet. But, if I go out, maybe I'll have to trim up a little bit just in case the kid gets a little lucky. You, on the other hand, you and Heather have your own thing. Whether you use the products or not, we'll see. You don't have to impress anyone. Let's get into it. We'll talk Oklahoma basketball at the end. Maybe we'll do a little basketball at the end. But we have a lot of stakes action to get to. Again, like I said, I sent Aaron and Magic. So if Magic wants to pop on, he knows exactly where to go. The stakes action. So we're going to go right to Aqueduct. We don't usually do Aqueduct, so it was a little fun to include that into the mix. And we're going to go to the Tom Fool. I will share the entries with you guys as we do so always. Again, keep in mind, we're going to be playing around with it a little bit. I think no. Keep in mind, all the Equibase are the same. I'm trying to get the right one for us. Let's see. I'm taking a guess. There we go. The Tom Fool handicap. Aaron, I'll start with you. This is a nice race. It's a small field, but a quality field. You can see only the 4 Happy Farm comes in at double-digit odds. Kind of give us your brief preview of this race and what you're looking for here in this small group.
Well, good morning, everyone. Ricky just talked for 4 minutes and 11 seconds to start the show without introducing me. So happy to be on. I thought maybe I was just going to leave and let him do it all by himself. So good morning to everybody. And real quick, Freaky Friday 2 pick 4s. Yes, be ready for it. I've got a reason why. I will talk about it once we get there. Look, 7th race, Tom Fool. Here's the deal. The Aqueduct Stakes races are questionable as far as talent, but this one does have a lot of interesting choices. I went with the number 1 Pete's Play Call. I really like that this horse drew the rail. I think this horse can get out to the lead from this rail spot. Last time out, just barely faded, going 7 furlongs in the toboggan, got second by a half, cuts back to 6. I think that's what this horse needs. So I'm going to kick it off with the 5-2 shot on the rail, number 1, Pete's Play Call.
Yeah, I apologize. That is the second time that I've done that. I'm trying not to. I just have so much going on, so I apologize, and I'm going to make it up to Aaron in the best way I know how at the end of the show. But yes, that is Aaron Halterman. That is my boss, actually, and my co-host on the show. So I do apologize. I'm going to say that out loud. For me, I'm going to go with Chateau. I'm going to spice it up a little bit, 6-1 on the morning line with Chateau. This horse likes to get to the lead, kind of has to get to the lead to win. And this is what I like to call a gritty rider race. Kendrick Harmouche, if you haven't been paying attention, has done a fantastic job at Aqueduct. I would say he's probably the best rider there at the moment. And if you're not too familiar with Kendrick Harmouche and you kind of focus on Belmont and Saratoga, he's kind of towards the bottom end. But he's extremely talented because all the riders are Gulfstream and Oaklawn and wherever. He's doing a really, really fine job. And I think he can get this one to go gate to wire. It's a small field and it looks like a rider race. And I don't want anyone other than Kendrick Harmouche. Aaron, let's go to their feature of the day. There are some stakes races at these tracks we're not going to get to. We try to focus on the graded ones only. There's just a lot to get to, unfortunately. We're going to go to the Grade 3 Gotham. Aaron, what were we thinking in the Grade 3 Gotham for 3-year-olds here at Aqueduct?
Boy, it seems like a 2-horse race. The more I look at it, I'm going to maybe say it's a 3-horse race. I think Highly Motivated, Wipe the Slate, and Freedom Fighter are the 3 you got to look at. On top, though, I went Highly Motivated. You look at this, and there looks to be a lot of speed in here. I think the 4 and 7 might be able to press each other, both shipping in from California. Got that California speed here in New York. Usually it's dangerous. I'm just a little afraid with Freedom Fighter. This mile might be a little too long. I think Highly Motivated just kind of tracks those 2 leaders and pounces. I'm pretty high on Highly Motivated, so I'm gonna go with the 3-horse here. I hate the price at 8-5, but I just think this horse looks best.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of all in on Highly Motivated. If you guys aren't aware, Javier Castellano came back off the injury and was riding at Gulfstream, but he makes his way north for this race. And I think this is Chad Brown's probably best shot at a Kentucky Derby horse. He does have crowded trade, but, just going off the jockeys, what we know, Eric Consell is going to be on the 2nd or the 1A of the Chad Brown. And yeah, I think it is a 2-horse race between Highly Motivated and Freedom Fighter. Aqueduct's interesting because these New York horses are gritty. They're like the, Big 12 right now in basketball. They're gritty horses, and a lot of horses struggle when they come from Gulfstream or come from other tracks. Like Oaklawn, I think is the same way, very gritty. And sometimes out west, what I like to say, the horses are a little soft. So we're going to find out, and we're going to see if the weather really affects Freedom Fighter, because it's going to be something he's never tried before, running in this type of weather. It's going to be interesting. Let's move on to Oaklawn's one stakes race that we're going to focus on Saturday. We will get those entries up for you guys, and it's the Honeybee Stakes. I'll let Aaron start again, like he always does. This is an interesting field for 3-year-old fillies. Maybe we'll have some things to look forward to moving forward. Aaron, here we go. The Honeybee Stakes. What were we thinking here?
This is going to be a really interesting race because coming in to the race last time out, the Silver Bullet Day at Fairgrounds, I was told that Sunpath is kind of the real deal for Brad Cox. And this is a horse that's going to be a major Oaks player. Well, the horse just didn't fire. Got 4th, beaten 4.5. And I was like, well, I guess I was told wrong. But if you listen to Brad Cox after the race, he's like, look, I have no idea what happened to Sunpath. This horse should have ran a lot better. We're going to take her to Oaklawn. Maybe it was a surface, even though she won by 12 at Fairgrounds 2 races back. But, maybe we just need to change it up, do something. I'm going to take Sunpath one more time here. I think on the bounce back, this horse, should run pretty well. There's if Sunpath doesn't win, all of a sudden there's a lot of different ways you can go here. I think you have to go deep, but on top, I am going to go with the 4 Sunpath.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot with a horse that seems to be improving. And for me, that's the 7, Olivia of the Desert. Now, I'm not sure how talented she is ultimately. I don't know if her very best is going to be good enough, but this is the one that I feel like I have the most answers. And what I mean by that is Coach lost to Will, literally the 8 Coach, that's the name of the horse, lost to Will Secret. Now, that was on a muddy track last time out. And then I took a look at Will Secret and I said, I don't know. Like, it goes the other way. Does Will Secret really want an off track? There are a lot of question marks. And then Aaron just brought up Sunpath, who we don't know what the heck happened with her. Sunpath loses Florent Giroux and now is going to go to the 8 Coach again, who was ridden, and it seems like the Joe Talamo Florent Giroux thing will switch back and forth. So I don't know. There are a lot of question marks, and I think there's some upside with Olivia the Desert. We're going to see what she's made of for Kenny McPeak. Let's go to Florida now, and sorry. Let's go to California. Then we're going to go back to Florida. We're going to head out west for the San Felipe Grade 2. So that's it with Oaklawn. Not the biggest weekend at Oaklawn, but that's okay. Let's start with their stakes action, their graded stakes action. Aaron, I'll throw it to you. The race number 6, the San Felipe for grade 2.
A real quick note on Florent Giroux. He actually won't be at Oaklawn. This was kind of weird. He got listed on a bunch of horses at Oaklawn, but he is going to be right here at Santa Anita. He's not riding this race, but he's come in to ride some of the other big races at Santa Anita, and we'll probably talk about him here in a minute. So I don't really know who's going to ride Coach. I think that will be interesting. But yeah, let's go to the San Felipe. This is the biggest race of the year so far for the Kentucky Derby Trail, in my opinion, because it's got a lot of interesting prospects. I know it's only 7 horses, but it's a pretty deep 7. This is going to be a good one. I'm not going to buck Life is Good until he beats me, or until he gets me beat should be the right way to put it. I've been super impressed with this horse in 2 starts. I know the stretch out and distance is going to have some people questioning him a little bit, but I'm going all in on Life is Good one more time here. Listen, the horse got a 101 buyer last time out. I think the horse was slowing down because Mike Smith wasn't asking him to run. I think they were just saving up. I'm going to go Life is Good one more time, but this is the major test for him. If he can pass this one, he might move back to number 1 on my Kentucky Derby rankings.
Yeah, I think if Life is Good wins, this is a pretty good field. Let's start there. The second one is if Life is Good wins, I think him and Essential Quality have really established themselves as either 1 and 1A or 1-2, however you like to do your rankings, 1A, 1B, I don't know, whatever it is. But there are a lot of horses that are intriguing to me. I feel like Mike Somich here. Like I'm usually the chalk guy, but Dream Shake at 20-1 on morning last time out dominated. What is Dream Shake going to get Joel Rosario? Roman Centurion, that is my long shot. I think we were talking about the Kentucky Derby future wager. I want to see what he's about. I think Life is Good is vulnerable. And that's just me. I'll be the first one to admit that I'm wrong if he runs away with this field. This is a good field. This is one of the better fields for these Kentucky Derby preps. And I'm with Aaron here. This, I think, is the first true race. I think we're going to see maybe the winner and the second horse move forward in terms of where they get positioned. And if you're 3 in the rest or 3rd through the rest, you might cut back in distance. You might find something else. Maybe the Jim Dandy will be in some of these horses' future down the road. Aaron, let's go to the next graded stakes race. We got to go a little bit further down, and that is the San Carlos. A lot of Sands in the name. We have Storm the Court returning to the dirt. We got some interesting ones here. What were we thinking in the San Carlos?
I can't believe I'm doing it. I kind of think Storm the Court is going to win this race. And I seriously, I handicapped this like 2-3 times thinking, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. I don't know. I kind of think he looks like the best horse here. I kind of like the cut back in distance. I kind of like we're getting 5-1. I don't know. I debated it a long time. Yeah, I went Storm the Court. I almost went the number 7 Exalted, and to be honest, I've got a little bit of time. I might end up flipping it to Exalted on top because Storm the Court's a tough pill to swallow. Hey, also gets John Velasquez aboard. I think that's a good sign as well. So I went Storm the Court on top here. I think the cutback is going to help this horse.
Yeah, you actually, real quick on Aaron's point before, Florent Giroux is on strong constitution here for Doug O'Neill. So yeah, that just kind of confirming what he said. Florent Giroux will be out west. That completely crossed my mind. We're going to talk about Florent Geroux, I think, a little bit later as well. Storm the Court, I said on so many live streams, I'm against this horse. Like, I don't want him on the turf ever unless he drops into like an allowance race, but he is getting back on the dirt here. And so it's interesting. He's a much better dirt runner. I never understood why he ran on the turf ever. I'll still make the case that some of his dirt efforts are better than any of his turf efforts. I went with Brickyard Ride, though. And the reason I did is because this is, we talk about 7 furlongs being interesting. I don't know if there's any other true sprinter in here, and I don't think this is a crazy stretch out for Brickyard Ride. If Storm the Court does show up with class and actually runs a good race, he's going to be tough to beat with John Velasquez. But you know what? Let's give Alexis Centeno some credit here. I think he can get this one gate to wire. Again, if the jockey's not as good, he's not as good as John Velasquez, just get him to the lead. We've talked about that all the time. The instructions aren't tough. Let's move on to the next race, the Frank Kilroe Mile, grade 1. We got a lot of California turfers here, but there's one that we should keep an eye on that's going to make their way west. What were we thinking here in the Frank Kilroe?
Yeah, this one is the race I'm most excited about for the whole weekend. It's just a fantastic event. You've got several horses coming in from the East Coast. That's usually very dangerous here at Santa Anita, and anytime they come to the West Coast on the turf, for that matter. I went with Flavius on top for Chad Brown. I think this horse is just kind of steadily improving. Last time out was at Del Mar, got second by 3/4 of a length in the Seabiscuit. I think this is going to be a good race for him. For him. And he also, I think the mile is kind of the perfect spot. You look back at some of the past performances, he seems to run pretty well at a mile. So I do like Flavius. I thought Social Paranoia coming over is another one that's really interesting. Almost put that horse on top. But 6-1 on Flavius, just too much or too intriguing, I guess, for me to pass up.
Yeah, Dennis comes in and says I should pick the 9, and the reason he's saying that is because there's some Woodbine turf experience. I'll fade every Woodbine turf runner for as long as I can. And then he talks about Mike and Magic talked about the 7. Oh, Aaron, did you want to chime in real quick?
Real quick. The 9 is the favorite. I mean, don't you think? And I don't know who you're picking, but isn't that a horrible favorite?
Vulnerable. I want nothing to do with the 9. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I might have used the 9 for like 5th, just to be safe. But I'm like way off. I'll be willing to lose. He talked about the 7. I don't remember who I put on top. I believe I picked Smooth Like Straight, but I do want to talk about Casa Creed for a minute. Smooth Like Straight should be the horse that's going to get to the lead. But Casa Creed coming from Gulfstream, Keeneland, Saratoga, those horses are, if you watch turf racing, those horses are better on the East Coast. And we could throw Kentucky into the mix for the sake of the conversation. Kentucky's the East Coast. They are better than these California runners. Like, it's not really close. And I think Smooth Like Straight is the best California turfer, in my opinion, one of them. I think Casa Creed is a horse to watch out for. Bill Mott is also one of arguably the best trainer in the country right now. So just keep an eye. I went really deep. I did use the 9 Ride a Comet, but I'm really hoping he doesn't win. I almost would be willing to lose a ticket just so Ride a Comet doesn't win. That's how much I hate that horse. And he's, to Aaron's point, a horrible, horrible favorite. Let's go to the cap, right? The big cap. We've got a few horses to keep an eye on, but I think we will talk about the horse that Jared loved all last year. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury, and that's the 2 Maxfield, who comes in an 8-5 morning line. But then we have King Guillermo, who reared his head again. Aaron, what were we thinking here in the feature of the big cap?
This is honestly one of my favorite races of the year. We went out there the year Accelerate won it, and it was so much fun. It's just a fun time to go to Santa Anita. It's kind of a laid-back atmosphere compared to when you go to the Breeders' Cup. We tried to go back, and whether it be it got canceled and had to be rescheduled, or COVID, or whatever, we've never been back since that time. But anyway, I wish I was here for this one. I went Maxfield on top. I could not go against Maxfield here, but I don't think this is a slam dunk. And if you think it is a slam dunk, I would tap the brakes just a bit. I wouldn't single Maxfield here. I think you can single somewhere else that maybe is a little smarter. He's going to be tough to beat, but Express Train looked awful good last time out. Idol gets a jockey change. Kiss Today Goodbye gets back to Santa Anita. Independence Hall finished, really well in the Pegasus. It's a tough field. It's the toughest field he's ever faced. But again, I think Maxfield, based on those last two races, has shown a tremendous amount of talent. So I will take him on top.
Yeah. I think the King Guillermo train's officially done, so we could throw him off. Nice story last year, but just unfortunately not going to hold up. We could talk about the racing dude's umbrella horse, Tis a Magician. Maybe he's got it. I know Magic will be rooting for him, and to some degree I will be as well. To be honest, again, if I'm not going to get my top choice home, I did put Maxfield on top, but to Aaron's point, I'm not singling. I'm putting Independence Hall there, and I think Nick's Go, that race in the Pegasus, told me all I needed to know, because Nick's Go would run on his best day, would run this field off their feet. I'm with Aaron. I wouldn't go deep, but it is one of those situations. If you were to use the 1, 2, or 5, I think you got to throw one of them out, because your ticket's going to get expensive, and you're going to have to take a short price. Unless maybe you use the 3 like Kiss Today Goodbye. I think you're better off between the 1, 2, and 5, maybe taking 2, and then using a horse like Coastal Defense or Kiss Today Goodbye as a price. 1, 2, 5 probably doesn't make the most sense. Now let's head back to Florida, and we're going to head to Tampa Bay Downs. They have the Tampa Bay Derby this weekend, and there are a lot of stakes races going on before that. Aaron, we'll start in race 5. This is an interesting title for the race, that $100,000 Michelob Ultra Challenger Stakes Grade 3. You don't usually see a dollar amount in the name, but that's what they do here at Tampa Bay Downs. A short field of 5. But it's a good one. I think you can make a case for all 5 of them if you really put your mind to it.
Yeah, I went with number 3, War Stopper, though, on top. I think this is a hot horse coming into the race. Some of these other ones, it's kind of like a wait and see almost for me, like the 5 Modernist. Let's see how that horse comes back. If you remember, the horse kind of was declining last year, so let's see how he comes back. Let Me Know was a horse that at times was pretty good, but it's his first race back as well. So I think War Stopper is kind of, where I landed. Since this horse got to Todd Pletcher, it's been pretty darn good. Get Saez aboard here. So, I'm going to go War Stopper on top.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting too. Like, for example, we haven't seen Modernist in a long time. I Let Me Know we haven't seen since November 15th in an allowance race. A few of the other ones, you can make a case for them all. The 2 Last Judgment ran against Nick's Go. Take that for what it's worth. But I'm with you. I'm on the 3 War Stopper. I think he kind of just seems like the early speed, and Luis Saez should be able to get him and just go away with it. It's weird. This is one of those weekends, right, where like jockeys are all over. Johnny Velasquez is out west. Florent Giroux's out west. Oaklawn doesn't really have a lot going on. That's probably the weakest jockey colony of the weekend. You got Luis Saez here, Julien Leperoux, Aaron's boy Alvarado on the 5 Modernist for Bill Mott. Dennis chimes in and says, I hate all these. You know what? I don't. I think this is a decent field. And they're properly placed, right? You don't have a horse that's taking a major drop that should run them off their feet, and you don't have a major horse that's taking a big step up. I think this is you can make a legitimate case for all 5, but I think Aaron and I are on the 3 War Stopper. Let's move on to another graded stakes race. I hope I didn't pass it yet. No, here we go. The Hillsborough Stakes, Grade 2. Here we go. We got Chad Brown again with a few. We know we're gonna give those some consideration. Aaron, where did you go? Did you go with Chad Brown on top, or were you going somewhere else?
I debated playing a couple of long shots. I debated playing the 11. I debated playing the 7. I went Chad on top. He just usually wins these races at Tampa Bay Downs. And I don't know. I just thought he was going to do it again. A little bit tougher race than last time out for counterparty risk. But overall, I still think this horse is just a little bit better than this field. I went counterparty risk on top. But again, this is another one kind of like the Maxfield race. I'm going deep here. Okay, I'm not singling counterparty risk. I think I did last time out. Not today. I'll go deep.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is a single. I used a bunch just for, to throw out a stack because I'm on counterparty risk as well, but I did use the other Chad Brown. I did use New York Girl for Belmont, Junior Alvarado. That's a great combo. But, for Chad Brown, Aaron talked about it a little bit. Chad Brown goes to Tampa Bay usually with his 1B horses, kind of like he does at Monmouth over the summer instead of Belmont or Saratoga. Him and Antonio Gallardo are winning at 29%. So that kind of gives you an indication of Gallardo's probably the best rider there, top to bottom, for the most part. Maybe not this weekend, but, normal Saturday, Gallardo's the guy you want. This is a good race, though. I think you can make a case. I didn't single counterparty risk. I think it's a much tougher spot. I think Micheline with Mike Stidham makes some sense. Miss Tehran, even La Signore for Brennan Walsh makes a little sense here. The Florida Oaks. Here we go. We got some fillies, some 3-year-old fillies, maybe looking to make a name for themselves on the path here. Aaron, what were we thinking here in the Florida Oaks?
Yeah, I went with a little bit of a price here. I went with the 3 Mia Martina. This horse hasn't done anything wrong in 2 starts. I see a lot of speed signed on. This horse, I should sit a trip where she's closing late. 8-1 was good, a good enough price for me. I have respect for the 2 jousters who's going to be the favorite. I have respect for domain expertise for Chad Brown. But I try to get creative with the other motion here at 8-1. Mia Martina, this horse has every right to step up and improve and has earned her way into this race.
Yeah, this is interesting because the top choices, with good numbers and stats and analytics or whatever you look at, are horses that don't have a ton of stakes experience for the most part. So it's interesting. You're comparing a lot of horses coming out of like allowance races at Florida. It's really, really tough to compare those because you really have to, dig deep into those allowance races. Oh, excuse me. I'm going with the 10. I'm all over the place. I'm going with the 10, domain expertise. I don't have anything else to say than Antonio Gallardo and Chad Brown. And this is one of the ones, think about this for a minute. This horse ran in a yielding stakes race at Pimlico before she ever broke her maiden. And then she comes back to Tampa Bay Downs. I think that was a little too tough of a spot. A horse like Fluffy Socks, who won that race on that day, the Salima Stakes, would blow this field away. It's probably a little too ambitious for Chad Brown, but that's okay. That's where I'm going to go. Again, Jouster's going to be tough, though. I think you have to include Jouster. I'll be honest, I didn't love any of the longer prices, but Aaron was on Mia Martina. We'll see. Julian Leperoux on the turf. He's proven me wrong a few times. Big field as well. There's no 1 Big Bad Diva and MTL. We have 2 through 12. Let's get to another stakes prep race. We're going to find out if any of these runners are legit. And Aaron, let's start with the big one here. Are you on Candyman Rocket, the Bill Mott horse who won the Sam F. Davis? Are you going in another direction?
I was all over Candyman Rocket last time out in the Sam F. Davis. We didn't get near the price of the morning line, but we kind of knew that. But still, we got a winner, and really it didn't feel like that race was ever in doubt. I don't know that I want him back here at a short price as far as on top. I mean, I definitely think he's the one to beat. I definitely am going to use the horse, but I kind of think there's enough factors going the way of the 8 Hidden Stash here to where I'm going to take a shot against Candyman Rocket with Hidden Stash. Look, last time out was the first start as a 3-year-old, kind of a little bit of a layoff. The horse didn't get a great trip, still ran on for a nice closing third, and now gets Bejarano. And Bejarano's never lost on this horse, so kind of gets the regular jockey back. That's another really good factor. You look at this race, and boy, on paper, Ricky, this looks like it could melt down. There's a lot of horses with speed. It's a big field. It should set up pretty well for Hidden Stash. If he doesn't win today, I don't know if there's really an excuse, right? He should probably win this thing unless he's just simply not as good as Candyman Rocket, which is possible. But I'll take what's probably going to be double the price and find out here with the 8 Hidden Stash.
I'm all in on Candyman Rocket, but I can't believe I'm saying this. Please look at the Woodbine runner. I don't think I've said that in quite a long time. Helium, and this is why. Aaron has to take a step back. You guys aren't looking at Helium right now. I'll scroll that down for the back half. I'm I'm all. First of all, I think there was one horse we could eliminate, and that's Sitting on Go. Even Dale Romans was on TVG yesterday, like, yeah, Sitting on Go, and he started laughing like that horse should be running against us at this point. 20-1. Too bad he's not a 2-year-old anymore. Sitting on Go was nice as a 2-year-old. Helium's interesting because this horse hasn't run in quite some time, right? And to Aaron's point, there's a meltdown. So can Candyman Rocket survive the meltdown? That is the question, because he will put a lot of horses into submission. He might have to do it with 5, 6, 7 horses. Can Helium be close enough? Because sometimes these races, when it's a meltdown, the closers have to work. That's the key here. Does Helium have to work? I don't think the layoff is a big deal because he doesn't want to be on the lead or even near it. I'll take a shot, but he has to run much, much better. And I think that's why Aaron kind of used the 8 hidden stash, but maybe Helium's just a stride or 2 ahead. I did like hidden stash as well. I didn't single Candyman Rocket. I put Candyman Rocket on top, but just watch out for the Woodbine runner. Helium, if you hear me on Wednesday talk about Helium running dead last, I'll be the first to admit I didn't listen to my own advice. That was our close shave rocket launch. Someone, we'll talk about a few horses real quick. Then we got to head to Gulfstream. Has anyone ever heard of the 2? Super Strong.
The 2's coming in from Camaro. First time for Saffy Joseph. Broke the main down there.
I have no idea. I'll be the first to admit I know nothing about this horse. Aaron, like I don't know. I know nothing about this horse.
I mean, it's got good connections. It picks up Gallardo, so that's something. But I don't want any part of this one until we see what happens. Usually horses that come from that track don't run well here. Real quick, I do want to address the Pletchers real quick before we move on. He's got Promise Keeper, the 11, and he's got Unbridled Honor, the 9. 11, I'm afraid, is going to get caught in that pace duel. This horse has a lot of speed, drawn outside, so the options are clear, and to clear this field, you're going to have to use a lot of speed, and that might burn you up, or you're going to run right there with all the speed and be wide. So it's a really tricky spot for Saez. I do like that Saez as a board, so a defensive use. And then the 9 for Todd Pletcher, that horse kind of is going to get a setup here that's decent. So I think both of his are sneaky, but I am worried about the pace with the 11.
Yeah, the best thing I would say the best case I can make for the 2 is the 2 ran one race and it was over a sloppy track. Promise Keeper also has a win over a sloppy track, and a lot of people have been chiming in saying the weather could be an issue. So we didn't factor that in. We never do when we talk about handicapping, but maybe that's the case you can make for a horse like Promise Keeper. All right, we do appreciate. Sorry we couldn't get to a lot of these comments. We just had to get through them all. We literally just went over to like 12 stakes races, and we're going to do a whole Gulfstream preview now. So please take out your past performances and let's head to Gulfstream Park. Again, Aaron has a pick 4 ticket. That was our Close Shave Rocket launch brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code ROCKET20 at manscaped.com to get all those free goodies, free items, all that good stuff. Free shipping as well. Always nice to save $1 or $2 here and there. All right, Aaron, real quick, I'm making it up to you today. I didn't let you talk for the first 45 minutes of the show, but I'm making it up to you today. You got 4.5 minutes if you want it all. Why did you go with a pick 4 ticket instead of your multi-race wager? Was it as simple as you didn't like anything, like, you want it to be different today? You're trying to change some Oklahoma mojo because they've been in a rut. What was your reason for making a pick 4 ticket today?
I went back and looked at all 33 Rocket Hours. And when I have a $20 win wager on the 4 race sequence, it almost always works out very well for me. If you go back and just add up all the $20 win wagers I've suggested, the ROI is very good. So I decided when I don't have that $20 win wager, I'm going to go to the pick 4. I should have done it Wednesday. I thought about doing it Wednesday. I would have hit on Wednesday. I think my money is probably better invested when I don't have that strong anchor win bet to do something like this. So I thought, let's give it a shot today. I didn't have a horse in this 4 race sequence that I liked enough to put a lot of money to win on. So I'm going to go to the pick 4. I don't need 4 minutes. That's my explanation.
You know what? It's always nice to have a co-host who not only keeps it short, because I don't, but who also does his homework. He went back and looked at all the rocket hours, and I'll be the first to admit, I've never done that, nor did I even think about doing that. But Aaron has done the research, the work behind it, and he said, you know what? This makes sense today. And that's what we're going to do. So take out those Gulfstream past performances. We are going to head to race 7. Unfortunately, everyone who, if you bought the product yesterday, Gulfstream, you had a heck of a day. Unfortunately, we decided to do Oaklawn. It's his fault. We went to Oaklawn. Luckily, the experienced guy knocked on the door and said, we're heading back to Gulfstream. No, we're going to try to make it work today. Knowing our luck, it'll be Oaklawn that's giving out winning tickets. I'll throw it to Aaron. Race 7, 1 mile on the turf, claiming $35,000 through $25,000 for 3-year-old fillies going 1 mile on the turf, 8 furlong. All right, my friend, I think this is the first pick 4 ticket, maybe the second. It might be the first or second. You might have done it before, but here we go. You got your shot. Pick 4 ticket. We got 2 opportunities to cash. We haven't done the research to see if we could both cash. We'll walk through that, and maybe we can. Start us off here in race 7. Where did you go and why?
Well, we could both crash and burn because we both have the exact same 3 horses to kick this off. 2, 3, 7 to kick this thing off. So immediately this could all be over and this show could be worthless. Well, I guess not, because we talk about the stakes. So we've got some built-in stuff there, even if this crashes. Listen, I think we both thought of it the same way. It looks like the 2, 3, 7 are the logical ones. You look at the 7. I think getting to the to the turf is interesting. This horse won a starter allowance last time out on the dirt, and now we're going to the turf. And it's not like this trainer doesn't really know what he's doing. I mean, he wins at a decent clip, maybe not at Gulfstream, but overall. So I thought it was interesting. I thought the 7 was kind of that stranger danger, so to speak, kind of weird, but that you have to kind of look at. I included the 3 because, again, I think getting back to the turf is what the 3 needs. 1 at the maiden claiming level, 25,000, 2 races back by 3, and off the turf starter allowance last time out, draw a line through that. Back to the turf today, I think the 3 definitely is one you got to use. And, the 2, Cheerleader Barb, ran at the starter allowance level, I should say, last time out, was 3rd. Now gets down to the 35K claiming ranks. I think that's where Cheerleader Barb needs to be. So 2, 3, 7 for me to kick it off.
Yeah, unfortunately, when we do it this way and we have the same horses, I gotta have to repeat, or he has to repeat me. But I'll throw a few different things in there. This race on the turf, we talked about speed before, so I think immediately you have to go to Crystal Coast. In terms of just a speed figure, I guess for that matter, you could use the 4. Pretty Rachel, but I believe who we didn't use. Pretty Rachel's probably better on the dirt. I didn't like that 1 turf effort.
Same.
And I'm not going to blame Juan Carlos Avila because he knows more horse racing in his fingernail than I'll ever know. But wasn't that race discouraging enough that you wouldn't want to put him back on the turf? Put her back on the turf, excuse me. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents from Fort Lee, New Jersey, where it's 6 degrees outside. So you start with the 3, Crystal Coast, Carlos David, Irad Ortiz. Don't need to get into it there. The 2, Cheerleader Barb, faced winners for the first time. I think Mike Somich talked about a horse, Porque No. Porque No is a really, really talented runner at the starter optional level, and the drop down in class just makes sense. I don't know what to make of Celestial Cheetah. You're big on the first time on the turf. That's your thing. So I kind of said, you know what? Aaron likes this horse. I want to throw it to you. Did you like this horse more because it's first time on the turf or because are you the Junior Alvarado #1 fan in the country, or both?
I think it's a little of both. I definitely think this horse, for whatever reason, last time out really woke up. Now you say, well, kind of a class drop from the race 2 back. Sure, that's definitely sure. But I feel like the horse ran better than the other races that she had been in as well, where she was kind of up against her level. When up against this kind of competition, never finished worse than 2nd. And I don't know the reasoning why you would send her to the turf unless you just thought she was going to run well on it. Like, she's doing pretty darn well. So Yeah, for all those reasons, I just thought the turf made sense. And again, the trainer here is not an idiot. He's not just, swinging for things, trying things. I think he feels like it's a good spot. And, I think if this horse just transfers that talent a little bit over to the turf, going to be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, sorry, guy. I was like, I don't know. Aaron looks a little bit, bigger. The picture looks bigger. And I was like, oh, wait, the entries weren't showing. Sorry about that. So here we go. Let's get to a couple of the comments. Jared said, yes, he had the pick 5 yesterday. I guess he was talking about Oklahoma. Congratulations, because I don't know, for me at least, I would have had to throw darts or pick out of a hat. So congratulations. That
5 at Gulfstream that you
the early one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know because the late one I know, which actually cashed, was a little over $1,000. Mm-hmm. So at Gulfstream, congratulations. That's almost 23,000. That's in the life-changing score type. Maybe not life-changing, but one of those situations. Dennis says the 2. Okay, here we go. I love this comment. Dennis, I thank you for the softball, because I'm it's like on a tee now. I could destroy the pitch. All right. The 2 has been beat by the 5 and 6. Okay, the 5 appointed. That was a debut at almost 7-1. Just went gate to wire in a really, really, really slow race. And that for the 2, Cheerleader Barb, that was her first race. Look at what Cheerleader Barb was trying to close into. 24-2. Yeah, no thanks in the debut. Literally, Cheerleader Barb was close to dead last. So we could start with the 5. And then at that next level, lost to Porque No. Same race, Cheerleader Barb finished 3rd. So I think we've kind of eliminated the 5. And I'm not going to bet Leon McCann's McCann. I don't know what the heck that says. Not betting him. Not betting Marcos Meneses either. So I think we quickly eliminated the 5. The 6, Serenade Kitten. This is Aaron's angle. Mike Maker to Mary Epler. Don't want any part of that. This horse has gotten worse. And Mike Maker had this horse at the 35 claiming level, won by a neck, then goes to a bigger level, faces Porque No, also loses to Cheerleader Barb. So just because you see a horse beat a horse in their debut or a long time ago, that's not the same horse that they were. We're talking about a race that was on October 9th. Not going to be the same horse on March 5th, 2021. Aaron, I appreciate Dennis throwing the softball in there for me. Do you have any reason that you'd want to include the 5 or 6 other than me just ripping those 2 horses apart?
No, not really. I did think about the 6 a little bit. Saya's, board. I thought that was interesting. But no, not really. And to get back, sorry, Jared, I was watching those comments come in, and it was when Ricky was talking about his product. So I thought you were talking about that, but it was Oaklawn. So maybe we did kind of help somebody yesterday, Ricky. I don't know, but
you're throwing me off.
I didn't. The 5 especially. No, the 6, Serenade Kitten. Yeah, it was the Maker thing. Maker to Epler, just I couldn't get over it. If you're playing in a tournament and you need a prize, it's that kind of makes a little bit of sense to kind of take kind of a shot with one. But on the regular tote, I couldn't get behind that horse.
Aaron, I agree with you. I would say in horse racing between 90 and 95% of the time, which is in terms of us, the racing dudes, I agree with you more than anyone else. And I would say you probably agree with me more than anyone else. If I'm playing a tournament horse, I'm using the 2 at 6-1 more than I'm using the 6 at 5-1. If we're going off morning lines, that's what sometimes you have to do. I have no reason why this 6 horse would win. Or I would even use the 3, who could be a gate to wire winner more than this horse. I hate this horse. This is a type of horse that if she takes money, then good. I'm all for it, and I'll be willing to get beat by her. I'll throw in real quick before we move on. The 7, Celestial Cheetah. Shocker. Horse coming from Aqueduct, runs well at Gulfstream. Haven't said that before. Let's move on to race 8. I'll start here because I'm not going to let Aaron get the best of me here. I'm going to let him repeat some of my horses this time around. This is allowance for Florida bred 3-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt. This one is interesting. The big favorite is the 3, Sir Ollie. I kind of think he's beatable, and I could see you did as well. This looks like the typical runaway, should win at Gulfstream. I just don't feel that way. I went 3, 4, 5. I'm not trying to beat any prices necessarily. I put the 4 Shoe Shine for Mike Deeney on top. Now, I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. Tyler Gaffalione had this horse at the starter optional claiming $25,000. It was a puzzler to me because I had to go back and say, why did he run at that level? Because he ran at the 25,000 claimer at Tampa Bay Downs. And I quickly thought to myself, those 25 claimers at Tampa are probably around 40 to 50 here at Gulfstream. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Just because the price is the same at every track, it doesn't always equate. So I said, okay, if we could equate that to maybe a 40,000 claimer, open claimer at Gulfstream, it probably fits into this Florida bred allowance race. Honestly, that's what I did. So I said, look, okay, let me go back. My logic makes sense. Let me make sure the analytics step up. They kind of do. The time for him kind of stacks up here, and Jose Ortiz is going to get aboard. Mike Deeney's 2 for 6. I know it's small, sample size, but Jose Ortiz, I said this on my poll like 3 weeks ago. Get back on the Jose Ortiz barn, on the bandwagon, and he's riding like crazy. I did use the 3, 4, 5, but I'm all in on the 4 Shoe Shine. I was close to making Shoe Shine my single. What about you? I see you use Shoe Shine as well.
Yes, I really love Shoe Shine here as well, and you said it perfectly. I think this horse, especially now that Ortiz gets aboard, that's a really good sign. And honestly, the 3 Sir Ollie is why I changed today, because I'm sick of coming on the show and having to rely on low-level horses with $20 win wagers. I don't like to do that. Yes, I know this is an allowance, but it's Florida breds and it's not a good group. You're right. The 3 should air. How many times have we been on this show in situations just like this, and a horse like the 3 doesn't run worth a damn? So the 3 defensive views for me, the 4 is the horse that I was most excited about. You added in the 5. I hate Gatsby, so I did not want to put in the 5, but the 3, 4 for me, this seemed to make a lot of sense here. If I went deeper than the 3, 4, I'd almost have to go all.
That's fair. The only reason, I'll be honest, I've been burned by this a lot. The only reason I used the 5 is because Irad Ortiz is aboard. The only reason. I have literally no other logic. It's not a Juan Alvarado thing. I don't like this horse all that much. I give the only other case you can make, at least at this distance, he finished second and in his one other race. But between 5.5 and 7 furlongs, they're all kind of the same for the most part anyway. It's Irad. I just don't want to leave him off the ticket. It's as simple as that. I wish I had a better reason behind it. But to Aaron's point, if I could only go too deep, it would be the 3 and 4. Let's go to this tough race on the turf. Allowance optional claiming 62,500. You could see there. Aaron, I'll be honest. I'll let you go, but I almost thought this was an all race. I try to take as many as I can because I think you can make a case for a bunch. What were you thinking here?
Yeah, so I went, 3-2 in the first, 3 horses by 2 horses, and then it was just a decision of where am I going to go a bit longer. It almost was this race, but in the end, I didn't do it. I just found the 1-4-6 to be what I thought could just be a little bit better than the rest of this field. Real quick, the 1 is my top pick. I used the 1. I believe this is a Rocket Hour graduate. If not, it was on the same day of a Rocket Hour, maybe earlier in the card. But the number 1 Toffin I used on top here. Boy, how many times have we said at speed here at Gulfstream? It makes a lot of sense. Last time out, this horse goes gate to wire for a nose victory. That was off a long layoff. So I think the 1 actually progresses off that race quite a bit today. I'm expecting a big one from Toffin. That's who I put on top. Listen, the 4, Kissing Frogs. This is your horse. They named this horse after you. There's a lot of girls kissing frogs, and Ricky is the frog in the situation. I almost put him on top because of that, just to make fun of you. And also, there those guys are again. Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado, another horse that came off a layoff last time out and looked damn good winning over this track. Here he is again, or here she is again, I should say, Kissing Frogs. And so for those, once I got those 2 horses, I thought I have a strong enough opinion there that I'm not going to go deep in this one. And then I also took on the 6 Lashera. This is one from your angle, really ran well the last couple of times in New York, and now ships down here to run at Gulfstream Park. Luis Saez says, I'll jump aboard that horse. So 1, 4, and 6. I like those 3 an awful lot.
Yeah, I think you can make a case for a bunch. I'll get down. We'll get to a few comments. Please throw in your comments because I think we can make a case really for a lot of horses in here. So we'd like to touch on a few more, even more that we use. The one Toffin just wins. Like I don't know how else to say it, but she runs well every spot she's in outside of her debut, which was on the dirt. They quickly realized she's not a dirt runner. Every race on the turf, she's finished first or second. Now, granted, we'll be stepping up. It says something to me that this horse likes to win. Again, this is what I like to call the authentic angle. Authentic wasn't at the time, like we said yesterday or Wednesday. We didn't really know what to make, but he won. That's kind of what she does. She just wins. I'm not going to doubt her. Neither is Aaron. Let's talk about the 2 Whiteheads. Let's get rid of some of these stakes races because she doesn't belong in them. But let's look at the 2 allowance races at Saratoga, and at Churchill Downs. 4 starts back and 6 starts back. Are those efforts not good enough to win here? I think they are. You got to go a little bit. You got to do a little soul searching to go that far back, but you could do it. Ian Wilkes, Julian Leperoux, good in Kentucky. Leperoux is, I think, one of the more underrated turf riders. He's number 2 behind my top guy, Jose Lezcano. I think Jose Lezcano is the most underrated turf rider in the country. Kissing Frogs, yeah, just makes sense. I have nothing to say. This horse is getting better. That race on December 27th, to Aaron's point, kind of just seemed like a litmus test. We didn't really know what to do. This might have been too ambitious of a spot off the layoff, but let's drop him in the 25 level. And you weren't going to see anyone claim that horse. I think the X and the N means no tag. The horse was protected, but off a layoff like that, no one's probably going to claim a horse like that anyway. I had to make a few decisions with my last horse. The 6 Lashara, the layoff scares me. This is a tough spot, and she just feels like she's going to take a lot of money, but I'm afraid of the angle that I preach. Belmont, Saratoga, New York to Gulfstream. That is my angle that I'm worried about. The 8, Simplicity, I love betting against this runner. And the reason I do, and I'm not using Simplicity, Christophe Clement's just been ice cold. Like, he really has. He was red hot, white hot, actually, at Saratoga over the summer. Ice cold here. Maybe she belongs at the allowance races, allowance level. I'm going to talk about the 5 a little bit. Our Baby Ruth. You're familiar with Valiance. Aaron's done a lot of handicapping, a lot more than me. Colonial Downs is an interesting turf track. It's kind of like Kentucky Downs in the fact their meet's not long and they only really have turf racing. But that race, the allowance option at this level of Colonial Downs, losing to Valiance by a nose. Irad Ortiz getting aboard for a trainer who's 0 for 33. That's my type of horse. Our Baby Ruth is not that much worse than these horses, and I think there's plenty of value. It's interesting. Do I want the trainer who hasn't won a race, Eddie Keneally, or do I want Christophe Clement who's winning at 8%? Again, I think Irad Ortiz might be the one to get the job done. But again, we are, I'm leaving off the 6 and 8. Let's get through to a couple comments. Dennis says, no 2 or 8 for Aaron. Aaron, I'll let you go first. Why no 2 or 8? No, why Tez or the 8 Simplicity? I'll let you go answer that one.
I needed to go 6 deep in the last race, I felt like, and the 2 had to be left off. That's the answer for the 2. 2 is my 4th choice. So, if you're going to play like what they call a caveman pick 4 and just go 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, 2 would be on it. I just a hard decision to leave that horse off. That was the last horse off of the whole thing. So I'm with you on the 2. The 8, I think Ricky touched on it. Cold Barn, and let's just see this horse. This time out. I mean, this horse is going to be a short price. I think it's one to play against. So that was why no 2 or 8 for me. The main reason why I didn't trust the horses in the last race as much as I trust the 1, 4, 6 here.
Yeah. So, Dennis chimes in again. Ricky, no 2 or 8 as well. So I guess this is my turn to answer the question. I kind of talked about the 8. I really think the 8 wants a little bit longer. If you look at all the pedigree, 1 mile seems a little bit short. Now, granted, she did break her maiden going a mile, and in France she was running at a mile. So I'm not sure. Maybe the mile is going to work for her, and it's possible. It is a half a furlong, not too much of a difference. But again, Cold Barn. I do love the way Jose Ortiz is riding, and that I'm worried about the angles with the 6 and 8. I have to buck the trend, right? The horses coming from New York to Florida. Will that trend continue? It's literally worked the entire meet. I'm kind of going against it and hoping it doesn't. And to Aaron's point, he went deep in the last one, in the last race of the sequence that we're going to get to. So play against for me. I don't like Lashara. She's going to take money. She's beaten me before. The layoff is a concern there, not having run since September. It's quite a long layoff. And Simplicity, the barn is literally freezing. It's colder than it is here in New Jersey for her. Let's see. Someone says Sally's Curlin switching to the turf. No thanks. I have nothing else to say other than no thanks. I don't want her.
I like Sally's Curlin as a racehorse. Very classy, no question about it. But yeah, it's kind of I took a wait and see. I circle her and let's see if the turf can kind of spring her back into some of that good form that she had. She kind of just has the look of a Romans that's just went all the way down, and that happens a lot with his horses. It happens with everybody, but especially with Romans, she just kind of lost her form. Like I say, I hope she runs well here, but I couldn't put her on the ticket.
This has Storm the Court written all over it. And what I mean by Storm the Court is, it hasn't been running well in the dirt. We'll try her on the turf.
Yeah.
That's not an angle I'm looking for. This looks like a move of desperation. Not only is she moving to the turf, she's dropping in class. So, granted, she's protected, but to be honest, would anyone else want to spend $62,500 so they could put the tag in there if they want? No one's taking this horse for that much at this moment. Jared says, I definitely think the one goes wire to wire from rail at Tampa. Maybe we're talking Gulfstream, because the one at Gulfstream kind of looks like she can go gate to wire. I hope I'm not making anything up. If we're talking about the one at Gulfstream, I think that's an option. Then Jared says, Dennis, you need some Adderall. I used it too. I used Ytez. I'm not sure why Dennis is telling me I didn't. All right, let's go to the final race here. This is the race. My type of 5 furlong turf sprints. This one's interesting. Aaron almost bought the entire race, where there are plenty of scratches. The 5, Kobe 52, the 7 miles ahead. I kind of thought it was a little bit shorter than that, but so I'll go first. Jared says Tampa Bay Downs. Okay, so we don't have that. We're doing Gulfstream, unfortunately. I don't.
Tampa. It's like, what race are you even talking about?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not even sure the race, and we're doing Gulfstream today.
I think wire to wire from the rail at Tampa is money. What race? I just looked the first race at Tampa. I don't think that one's going wire to wire. So tell me.
I'll be the first to admit it. I didn't even look at Tampa today. So that would be a question. Aaron does, again, he does all the tracks. So he could be, maybe he could answer that for you. I'll talk about this race and maybe we can get a little more clarity. Starter allowance for 4-year-olds and upward, going 5 furlongs on the turf. I was a chalk-eating weasel, except for one horse, and that's the 8, Malra. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He looks, like the only runner who actually is dying to get the lead. Maybe Angel Arroyo gets the call from Jenna Antonucci and says, just go as fast as you can, please. Just try. Granted, this race is, a step up, so probably cheap speed. But then I kind of looked and said, all right, the 6 fully loaded should be sitting right behind. And then I have the 10 Tropicat, who ran at this level last time and beat fully loaded. So I didn't need to go deep. I'm going to keep it short there, and then I'll bounce back. I'll let Aaron go touch on this one because he went deep. Yeah, Jared says, sorry, you're at Gulfstream Rail. Yes, no Tampa for us today. So forget all that. Aaron, let's go to you. You used 6 horses in here. I'm almost confused as to why you didn't buy the race. Why didn't you just take everyone?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could have. There was two horses I didn't think could win, so
Of
I
course, I'm using one of them.
I know. That's a little scary. Look, I just looked at it as, man, I've been burned by a lot of these horses in the past, and a lot of them on this show. So I went as deep as I could here. You know, if you got a strong opinion, maybe you can cut it down, but I couldn't. I went 1, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. So I used 6 of them. I did put the 10 on top. You know, one at this level, at this distance last time out, and beat Fully Loaded, another horse that I also used here. Fully Loaded, you know, you look at this one and it's like, man, he should win here. But we've kind of said that about him 2, 3, 4 times in a row now, and it just doesn't seem to. He doesn't seem to get the job done. But I did use him as well. The one Hero Tiger, I don't know. I just think this horse moving back to the turf, getting Irad Ortiz aboard, changing barns, a lot of positives here. I think the one could get a nice trip here and get the job done. But yeah, those were my top 3. But again, I don't have a strong opinion here. I think it's wide open. I went pretty deep.
Yeah, this is one of those situations. For me, I wanted the 2 best horses, and I want the one who I thought was going to get the speed, because the speed is holding on. You talked about, Tropicat a little bit. You went 1, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. I guess for me, I'll just kind of go and talk about why I didn't like those horses a touch. But I do agree. I think the 1 and 4 have a legitimate case to be made. The 3, Fair Catch, it would be tough for me to get to Fair Catch. The 1 is just stepping up, but he is consistent. That's my type of horse. I have nothing to say there. And again, I'm kind of going against Irad. That's the horse I put in 4th. So I just missed the ticket. And I put Captain Ron 5th. This is interesting because I talked about the claiming 35,000. It's probably about the same level as these horses. So for me, I'll go the other way. I'll throw this to you. Aren't you afraid a little bit that the 4 Captain Ron might be a tad too far back? Like maybe the 4 Captain Ron might want like 6 furlongs or 5.5. 5 seems a touch short for the 4.
Yeah, I get it. My big thing is here, there's a lot of horses in this race that are like, are they speed? Are they going to show speed? Are they cheap speed? Can they hold on? What if we get out there and 3 or 4 of them are going head to head? Like I kind of think the 3 will be up there. I kind of think the 6 should be up there. I kind of think the 8 will be up there. The 1 from the rail might get involved. So I wasn't, I'm always worried closing at Gulfstream on the turf. Okay, so yes, I will say that immediately. But is there enough speed where this could kind of fall apart late? Maybe. So I thought Captain Ron, it's not the perfect setup to have a closer on the turf at Gulfstream. I get that. But I think this could be a setup to where maybe he can get the job done. And I don't know that Captain Ron's going to take a lot of play because of kind of the angle. So maybe we get a 6-1 winner here in the last, and it makes this thing pay. So I thought he was worth taking a risk on.
Yeah. I think this race is completely wide open if you're willing to beat some of the shorter prices, and that's the 6 and 10. We'll get to a few comments here, and let's see what we've got here. Dennis says, I have a similar thought, except the difference, the Jaramillo is a speedball going 5 furlongs. So that's the horse that Aaron likes a little bit. For me, I don't think he's faster than the 8, to be brutally honest. So I do agree taking a long shot on the turf in a sprint makes sense. We just differ, I guess, in terms of, because Aaron said, 2 horses he didn't use, but we were thinking along the same thing. We just went in different directions in terms of the way we're looking at it. Quick speed on the turf, even cheap speed. Maybe they hold on. This is, the 3 for Aaron is definitely, if he was playing like a tri-box, that's his type of horse because he could get some value. Obviously, he didn't do that today. So, but if I was playing, the way he usually plays, I would include the 3 as well. Aaron obviously is using the 3, and then Dennis follows up, might be cheap speed. Yeah, the 8 is probably cheap speed also. Like I'm going the same way. I just went different. Jared says you can cut it down if you pay attention to the track bias but 1 from 4 posts are winning. So it's no joke. Every winner yesterday were 1 through 4. I didn't notice that particularly. I'll be honest. If you broke this field in through 1 through 4 and I get the 6, 8, 9, 10, I'll be more than happy to take this 6, 8, 9, 10 in here because I'm getting fully loaded. I'm getting Tropicat and my cheap speed, Malraux. So I'd be more than happy to do that. Aaron, have you noticed a track bias off the top of your head? I really haven't.
No, I think speed is the big thing. And a lot of times those horses drawn to the inside are the ones that naturally show the speed. They need to get out of the gate. So we'll analyze it again today for sure. But it could have just been a situation where some early speed, had those rail spots. That's the big bias at Gulfstream. You gotta have early speed on the turf. On the dirt, I kind of think you can come from off of it at Gulfstream this year better than normal seasons. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I think horses are coming from off the pace on the dirt at Gulfstream much better this year than usual. So anyway, but that's kind of my 2 cents. We'll see. Hey, 1 through 4, if they win again all day today, you can get on here next time and be like, yeah, you guys are idiots. I tried to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we're just not noticing it now. Someone else, our Stephanie, chimes in with my early Tampa pick 5. Guys, I don't get it. We're not doing Tampa Bay Downs. I'm not trying to be mean at this point, but we only did Tampa Bay Downs for the stakes races. Let me. Our Stephanie loves Tampa Bay. Let me analyze your ticket here real quick. Okay, perfect. That's what Aaron's going to do. Aaron's going to analyze the ticket and compare. I'm going to go on and kind of go with a few different things here. Just a few news and notes. Aaron, are we doing a live stream tomorrow?
Yes, live stream tomorrow. Going to start at 5 Eastern. So that will cover all 3. The Gotham is at 5:07, followed by the Tampa Bay Derby, I believe, then followed by the Santa Anita or the San Felipe. So those 3 will happen within a 38-minute time window. Those 3 races, and then we'll stay on and cover all the way through the Big Cat. It's going to be a long period of time, maybe like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So we may have to rotate people in and out. I don't know if anybody wants to be on for that long. But yes, we are going to do a live stream. It is going to start at 5. And breaking news, if you want to host it again, you can. I've talked with Jared. We talked off air after the show last night. Yeah, let him host it. So you can do it if you want.
Yeah, I'll host it. I do have to warn everyone. The sun will be peeking into my eyes again. That's just the way the setup is. So tough luck. If you don't want to see sun beaming into my face, well, tough luck. That's just the way the setup here is. Yes, you know what? Why not? I'll be on. God, knock on wood, everything's okay. I'll host tomorrow. Yeah, the racing dudes need some more injected energy. Why not? I'll do it.
I'll comment on our Stephanie's ticket there. Your 2 singles are my top choices in the 3rd and the 5th. So I think you got a good ticket.
Yeah, well, that's good because I'm not going to comment. I didn't look at one race, so I'd be giving wrong information if I just said it was good. Dennis says maybe I should throw a towel over the window. Dennis, it's like the large window. It's not like one of those little towels. It's like a whole apartment window. I can't do that. I'd have to tape 40 beach towels together. That's just not going to happen. Fine. It's 11. It's 12:10, almost Eastern time. So yeah. But I'll host tomorrow. Why not? Yeah, we got a lot going on. I'm sure Aaron will be on the whole time. He always is. And maybe we can get some others on here. I'm sure Magic will hop on. He's the Santa Anita guy. At some point, he will hop on as well. Real quick, I'm going to give you the floor. We talked about Oklahoma basketball off air. Real quick, at this point, a little bit on a skid, a little bit of a sputter. Mm-hmm. 2-part question. What would be the first thing that you would do if you're Lon Kruger, like to get them going again? Maybe it's a little press or maybe something different, maybe a rotation. And at this point, what would be a successful season for your Sooners?
Yeah, anytime we get to the Sweet 16 at OU, it's a good season for basketball. So that's still the goal, and I still think it's achievable. Recruit a little bit better players is probably what I do. I mean, seriously, I think they're playing absolutely as good as they can play, and that's no knock on the guys we have. They weren't as good as Texas. I mean, that's really all. They didn't have that guy that could step up and carry him to the finish line last night like Texas had, and Texas has got a couple that can do that. Listen, it didn't seem like Reeves could get his shot last night, so maybe you try to get some more plays for Reeves, try to get him open a little more. I don't know what more you could do, though. They were trying. They're just a cut below like a really, really good team, but they're scrappy, and I'll take them. I'm not mad at them. I know they've hit 4 losses in a row, but they've played awfully well in 3 of those 4 games. They just couldn't win them.
Yeah. Real quick for the live stream tomorrow, the Santa Anita handicap, the big cap is 7:30. So we will be on for quite some time. If we start at 5, we'll be on for probably 2 hours and 45 minutes or so. So it looks like on that note, I probably going to go to sleep a little early tonight, so I have some energy. For Magic, it's nice. He's done it 4:45. For me, it's into the nighttime. So that's going to do it for us today. Aaron gave us his pick 4 ticket. I almost thought he was, letting himself off the hook a little bit, kind of, making it a little bit easier for himself. No, but we agree. I think looking through this ticket, we definitely can cash together, which is nice. So we know through every race, we could be rooting for at least 1 horse. I think every race we can root for 2 now that I'm looking. Yeah, we can get through 2. If we play 2 by 2 by 2, we can get through it. So let's see. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you want to combine and play 2 by 2 by 2. Everyone can do that, obviously, as well. Thank you again to our sponsor, Manscaped. Again, manscaped.com. Use the code ROCKET20. Check that out. They have tons of great products and things like that. We will see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Breaking news, 5 o'clock. Instead of, I'm going to let Aaron or Jared set it up this time because there was a little miscommunication last time. I'll be more than happy to host, but I'm going to let them set it up, the live stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 5. Check out Blinkers Off. They did a great job last night. Aaron probably got into a little bit. I didn't listen yet. I never do until I do this. But I saw the word Les Miles in there. So you might want to, if you're interested in the Les Miles thing, you might want to check that out. Magic Mike, I think, did a pick 6 preview. They're trying to be above and beyond. I don't know what they're doing. They're the pick 4 people, but they did a pick 6. Check that out. Santa Anita, they're going to cover all the late races as well. You can go to racingdudes.com. My article is up there. Again, if you like money, a little over 4,300 in winning tickets at Gulfstream, I would say that was a solid Thursday afternoon, building the bankroll. Pick 4, 5, and 6, all cashed late. Aaron, again, literally just confirmed that a Tampa Bay Downs ticket on air was good, so that's an indication of what he can do just off the top of his head. Aaron's got all his stuff from every track across the country. Probably has that horse from Camarero Downs in there, maybe somewhere. Puerto Rico racing. Maybe he's got that covered today as well. He's shaking his head. No, he doesn't. We can't give him every track. We can't give him races from South Africa to cover as well. He's just going to cover the American racing here. So if you're interested in all that, check out racingdudes.com. No guide this week. I believe. Are you shaking his head? Because I think I'm right. At this point, we would have known that there's a guide out. So check it all out. Plenty of information. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. right here where you guys are watching YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff, YouTube, Periscope, all those types of things. We'll see you at 5. And good luck today if you're playing Gulfstream. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everyone.